For those who don't know me, I go by MT Motherlandboy, international hip hop artist, originally from Mali, West Africa, based in Atlanta. And decided to start doing these little videos to share a little bit, my background, my knowledge, different misconceptions about Africa and stuff like that. So with that being said, I'm gonna jump right into it. I ain't gonna waste your time. I wanna make this video about colonization and talk about how Africa was colonized by Europe. You know, so as Europeans was going to Africa, getting slaves, etc., etc. The most misconception, people think that they was buying slaves because there was slaves in Africa, but people was just did it was a different form of slavery. But Africans had slaves, had over Africans and slaves like prisoners and stuff like that. So they were selling, volunteering to sell those Africans to the slave traffickers, thinking that they was going to be treated the same way in Europe. But that I think I will go more in depth about that subject in another video. So like around 1884, there was a conference called the Berlin Conference. Berlin is the capital of Germany. So it was called the Berlin West African Conference. And it was held in 1884. So you can Google that. I think the conference started like 100 and some days, so we went all the way up to 1885. And that's when all the European countries got together and discussed how they was going to divide Africa. At that moment, Africa, like, it was different empires. Like, you had the Mali Empire, which was, before becoming the Mali Empire, was the Ghana Empire. Then it became the Mali Empire. Then you had different empires that was all forming the entire continent. So they sat down and discussed how they was gonna divide this continent among themselves. So they took the map and started carving new borders that didn't exist and started giving name. Like, basically they went inside the empire of Mali, for example, and took a big ass chunk and called it Mali, using the same name. Then went down there, a part where you find a lot of elephants and ivory. They carved a tiny little country out there and called it Ivory Coast. you know then went and did another one called Senegal, and inside of Senegal they carved another one called Gambia. you know that was the French portion. That's not the only countries they own. They got more. They got Algeria, they got Morocco, they got more, but I'm just giving you an example. You see what I'm saying? And so they went and carved more, like, and carved another part that's called Nigeria. That's for the British. Carved another part that they called Ghana, like the Empire of Ghana that used to be there. And that went to the British also, you know. So they just, made a plan to divide Africa among themselves, and then had a different strategies. It was basically gonna be um, by rules or by force. You see what I'm saying? So they basically came in with the guns, came in like ready for war. And any resistance, anytime they met resistance, they would just, shoot and then kill their way through till they got what they want and started creating these countries. Mali, which used to be called the French Sudan, You know, also it was called Mali, but it was also called the French Sudan. You know, Burkina Faso, which was a French colony also. You know what I'm saying? And so basically that's how it went. So from there, um, all these countries was created and belonged to different European countries. You see what I'm saying? Like I said, the French at their part, the British at their part, the Italians at their part, the Germans at their part, etc., all the way down to South Africa. And so the people had no citizenship. You know, basically you're a citizen of that place, like the French Sudan. You're a citizen of the French Sudan, but everything in the French Sudan, like the administration in that country, basically, I'm gonna give you the example of my country because that's what I know. But that's how basically it was going in every country. You know, the administration was all French people. The police was all French people. You see what I'm saying? It was French police, French governor, a French governor that governs the country. You know, he got his own administration, so he would pick, um, you know, among the locals and give them little positions under, but never big positions of leadership. All the positions of leadership was held by French, you know. But certain little positions, like managerial positions and stuff like that, like they might give it to a little local, you know, just to use them, you know, and to get more in depth in the population, you know. So that's how you went. And that went on to pretty much till 1960. Around the 1960s, same time, um, Africans and black people were fighting for their rights here. At the same time, Africans in Africa were fighting for their rights. That's why, like, sometimes, you know, like I really reflect and I see how um humans are very complex, you know, and like it's like the connection between us is, even though we don't realize it, is there, because a lot of things we start doing at the same time without even consulting each other. You know, we act the same way without consulting each other. You see what I'm saying? Like, black people in Africa act very similar to black people here without never even have met each other. You see what I'm saying? But it's just in us. It's certain things that just in your psyche, in your spirit, in your DNA, that just in you, you know. So yeah, basically, you know, colonization put a damp on our own culture because they forced us to abandon those languages that we speak and start speaking French. You go to a country like Senegal that's right next to Mali, and you'll find people that have the same last name as you, but you don't know if they're from your family anymore because they've been divided for so long. You see what I'm saying? And now they're in a country that's called Senegal and they speak Wolof and French and still. So you speak French, so I can understand each other, but the tribal connections that you used to have is cut off, you know. So, you know, they're gonna create trauma and and you know, have consequences on people's behavior, you know. And I you know, I can attest that myself. Like, you know, I had to brainwash myself to get off that colonization shit and thinking like a French person, you know what I'm saying? Even like the fact that I came here and I started speaking English, it changed my whole perspective because like I realized that I was really colonized, you know, because like, you know, I think in French, I do stuff the French way, and you know, French people are really particular. Like they, you know, it's a lot of, I don't know, like Americans is like straight to the point. You see what I'm saying? Get shit done, you know, let's go. French people is a lot of talking, a lot of 20,000 like sit down and talk about it and write like a gazillion papers about it then maybe have like one little action, you know. That's the French, you know. So it's a lot. So trickling down to us, colonized French, it's like we're not even fully French. We colonize, so it's like we don't have the full picture together, but we like a fucked up version of them. You know what I'm saying? I really realize that. You see, you go to every country, it's like Mali. We've been independent since 1960. We on our fourth president, but it's not even a president right now. It's the military got a so-called president, because they just did a coup where they just toppled down the government and hosted the president, and a military guy became the president till they got a new election, and that's been going on ever since. It's like ever since we got independent, no president really ever finished his term. From the first president till now, every time it's a type of revolution going on. Sometimes the French are behind it, sometimes it's the people, sometimes, but we can't get it together. And it's all because of that colonization stuff. You see what I'm saying? It messed up with, like, you got Africa all fucking messed up. But they love it because they tell us the money to use. French people print our money and decide the money that we use. You see what I'm saying? In Mali and all over, every over colony that they own. Until this day, we are still using that same colonial franc that they had like from the 1800s. Still. You see what I'm saying? They would not let us get our own money. Every time we're trying to get our own money, it's a war. You know, because they make that money. That money is not even real money. And I'm going to make another video about that, where I'm going to go in depth about the colonial franc. It's not real money. But basically, it's the old system. That's how colonization is, the old system. I take your country, it's mine. I give you the money, like paper, monopoly money that y'all use among yourselves, but y'all cannot use that money any over place in the world. You know, it's like paper that's worthless. I took it to the bank here and trying to change it. They told me it's worthless. I got to change it into French money first. Then I can change the French money into dollars. You know, so they put you in the system, give you this little money to use, and then they print that money. So no matter what they know, there's a certain amount that you will never have, because we print it every year. You see what I'm saying? So there's a cap on it. So we know that no matter what, y'all just gonna have this certain amount to circulate among yourself. Besides the ones that go overseas and find a way to get money overseas. You see what I'm saying? So it's bro, they got their foot on our neck. Like, I'm talking about on our neck. Like, they got contracts. I'm gonna give you examples. Like, they got contracts with Mali that they signed 80 years ago for the rate of gold. And for 80 years in the contracts, it says that the rates cannot be negotiated. The only thing is they bring the money to today's money, but you cannot negotiate the percentage rates. You see what I'm saying? So, just imagine that. Imagine that. So Mali, like Kanye said, you got gold, did you get it from Ghana or Mali? Like, in the world, like, we're the second top producer of gold, or the third. Sometimes we go up, sometimes we go down. But it's three countries. It's South Africa, Mali, and Ghana. Them three countries produce the majority of the gold in the world. The entire planet. But Mali, all the gold that come out of Mali, the government and the people probably get 30%, 25%. You know what I'm saying? The old 70 to 80% of the gold profit is big ass corporation, Canadian corporation, French corporations, American corporations. They split that profit. You see what I'm saying? And the government don't get nothing. You see what I'm saying? And every time they're trying to, you know, it's a war. That president is gone. And then, you see what I'm saying? We start over again. You know, like, I like, you know, when this revolution happened a few months ago, everything I owned with my family got looted. You see what I'm saying? Because we got some stuff downtown, like where I had a shop. I had opened up a shop that I call LTL shop, you know, and they looted all those places, burn them down to the ground and everything, you know. But I'm not even mad at anybody. You see what I'm saying? Because if I was there and I had no means and I was stuck and, you see what I'm saying, I would probably, you know what I'm saying? They're just mad, frustrated, so they take out their frustration on what's around. It's just like here when shit happen, you know, businesses get looted and shit. Like, it's nothing personal. So I had to really look at it that way. You see what I'm saying? But you know, it's people are going through some serious shit, bro. And you know, over there it's like the government can barely fucking function. You know what I'm saying? People that work for the government go 6 months without getting paid. So think about, but what you go, there's no welfare, there's no fucking assistance, there's no nothing. If you ain't got it and you ain't got a family member that can help you, you're gonna die. Period. And I've seen it. I've seen many people, like, you see what I'm saying, gone just cause they couldn't feed themselves no more. It's real, bro. So that's why, like, I don't take nothing for granted, bro. I don't take nothing for granted, and I never complain. Yo, I'll be crazy to complain. Knowing where I'm from and knowing where I'm at right now and how I live and how my entire family live, I'd be like selfish and crazy to fucking complain about anything. You see what I'm saying? But that's how they did us, man. Like, you know, so do more research, man. Think, ask me more questions, leave comments. You see what I'm saying? And I want to go more in depth in these conversations. You know what I'm saying? And do more research. You know what I'm saying? Do your own research, man. Don't just take what I, you know what I'm saying, gave you. You know what I'm saying? Take what I gave you and then add to it. Do your own research. Go research those facts. You're going to see that everything I'm telling you is facts. And then you're going to discover other facts. You know what I'm saying? New facts that I might not even know.